Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Now, I think a lot of us remember what Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was. It was a spin-off from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Saga. Now, I actually remember seeing this on the 4Kids Internet. I was like, wait, a new Yu-Gi-Oh! GX cartoon? So basically, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX follows the adventures of Jaden Yugi, who is a young and gifted student who joins Duel Academy, which is an academy in the middle of nowhere on an island. So I'm guessing that the island thing is meant to be kind of like a summer school thing. And I'm guessing, because it was also made by Seto Kaiba, who would see this as a Duel Academy for students. There are different coloured uniforms for the students. Cypher is for more beginner students and more sort of lack of skills. Ra is more sort of the good duelists, but not as great. Obelisk Blue is for the elite and the, if not the best. And I'm actually surprised that there's no girl version to Slifer's and no Lelo versions to Ra. And there are different living accommodations. For example, the Slifers have kind of a worn out area, Ra's have some of the good quarters, and Obelisks get the finest treatments. Now, what's interesting is Jaden does have other friends. You have Chaz, who's kind of the comedy relief at times, and other times is kind of seen as a bit of a rival. Bastion has these kind of multiple decks, and also has different decks. What's interesting is that in the opening, he has two dragons, Water Dragon and a Fire one. The Fire one was never used. My only theory why that one was never used could have been due to the fact of trying to come up with the card, and it was hinted that he was most likely going to become Jaden's rival. And you also have Cyrus, who uses kind of car-themed deck and other sort of characters. What's interesting is that Jaden does deal with dangerous threats. For example, Shadow Riders in Season 1, the Light in Season 2, and also 3, the Yubel, and Season 4, the Return of Night Shroud and Mr. T. Now, what's also interesting with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is the fact that certain characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Do appear, like Yugi, Kaiba, Pegasus, the Paradox Brothers, and so on. Originally, there was meant to be a Yu-Gi-Oh! Movie where Yugi and Jaden would have teamed up, but it was cancelled. But some elements from the cancelled film were used for the kind of episodes in Season 2. Now, what's also interesting is that pretty much in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, when 4Kids dubbed it, only 3 seasons were dubbed. Season 4 was left undubbed, and this was done to the fact that 4Kids were trying to move on to Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, ending the series on a bit of a cliffhanger. I think what makes Yu-Gi-Oh! GX so interesting is all the characters act like replacements, and if not, takes on different characters. Jaden is meant to be like Yugi, enthusiastic, and at the same time sees dueling as less of a sport and more of a fun game. And what's interesting is that Jaden is pretty much the most unbeatable person in Duel Academy. And also what's interesting about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, that the fact there were toys, card games, video games, and so on. And also with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX as well, we see Jaden as this kind of pure of heart, happy-go-lucky kid that everyone just seems to love. Now, given the fact that it's been almost 10 years since Yu-Gi-Oh! GX ended, I seriously doubt 4Kids is going to dub the series now due to the company in bankruptcy and that. And the fact they are working on current Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff. Now, also with Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, I think what makes it so great is the fact it's basically an interesting show about a Duel Academy on an island, and almost every episode seems to focus on something else, like spirit partners, abandoned dorms, and so on. Now, there is a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX manga which has its own alternative take, and at some point I would like to review the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX manga and share my thoughts on it. So, what do I think of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX? It is definitely not a bad anime. There is still a few nitpicks to go through, but it still deserves a good thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.